Perfume and Personality, Gordon Allport's Trait Theory by Emma Holtzman. I have been obsessed with perfume and anything that smells nice for longer than I can remember. This attributes to my large perfume collection. I love trying new scents and learning more about what makes up a perfume and how each one has a completely different personality. But how does perfume have a personality? Well, each perfume has top notes, middle notes, and base notes. These notes can be absolutely any scent you can think of: bergamot, rose, vanilla, cotton candy, and even scents derived from trees like oud. But what matters the most is if these notes are placed at the top, middle, or base of the perfume. But how does perfume compare to living organisms' traits and personalities? Well, we can compare the top, middle, and base notes of a perfume to Gordon Allport's trait theory of personality. First, who is Gordon Allport? He grew up in Montezuma, Indiana, and earned a bachelor's degree in philosophy and economics from Harvard in 1915. Gordon Allport contributed majorly to psychology, specifically to the world of personality psychology, to the point where he was even considered one of the founders of it. Interestingly, he did not approve of psychoanalysis and behaviorism, and instead stressed the importance of the individual differences in situational variables. Some of this comes from his meeting with the infamous Sigmund Freud. Throughout their meeting, Freud psychoanalyzed Allport, making Allport realize the limits of psychoanalysis and helped him find his own path to psychological research. Most importantly, Allport created the trait theory of personality, which is what we are going to dive deeper into. So what is the theory? Well, the theory suggests that everyone has basic traits, but the strength of each trait creates personality differences. While researching, Allport established that there are 4,504 different traits in a personality, which are sorted into three categories: cardinal traits, central traits, and secondary traits. Now, before diving in deeper, think about how I previously mentioned that there are loads of different notes that can be in perfume, and how they are sorted into top, middle, and base notes. Are you starting to see a connection? Let's also define what a trait is. According to Meyer Psychology for the AP course, a trait is a characteristic pattern of behavior or disposition to feel and act in certain ways as assessed by self-report inventories and peer reports. Let's start off with cardinal traits. Cardinal traits dominate someone's personality and have a significant effect on their actions. Some examples of cardinal traits could be Ebenezer Scrooge's greed and Mother Teresa's altruism. These cardinal traits relate to the base notes in a perfume. Base notes form the scent's foundation and guide the experience of perfume. They are long-lasting and are always there, just like the previously mentioned traits. These notes, or traits, in base notes are typically heavy smells like musk, woody notes, and vanilla. Next, we have the central traits. Central traits are present to some degree in everyone and can influence but not determine someone's behavior. Some examples of these are loyal, kind, grouchy, friendly, wild, and many more. We can consider Janice and Damien from Mean Girls. When we think about these two characters, many of us would first think of goth or weird, which are their cardinal traits. But when further analyzing their character, you would realize that throughout the movie, they both show loyalty to Katie. Loyalty could be present in everyone, but it may not determine someone's behavior. Hence the fact that loyalty is not what initially would come to mind when thinking about Janice and Damien. We can connect the central traits to the middle, aka heart notes of the perfume. Middle notes are considered the heart of the fragrance and take some time and analysis to notice that they are there, similar to central traits. The notes or traits in middle notes are typically florals and some vanillas. Lastly, we have the secondary traits. Secondary traits are not as obvious or consistent as central traits and only appear in certain situations. They don't reflect one's typical behavior. For example, our friend here, Jane, is known to be always smiling, happy, and never snappy. But Jane has had a horrible day today, causing her to snap at her friend. Being snappy is not a typical trait shown in Jane's behavior and only comes out when she's having a horrible day. We can relate secondary traits to the top notes of perfume. The top notes of perfume are present only when the perfume has just been sprayed, this being the situation, and the traits shown during the situation are the top notes. Top notes also disappear when the perfume has been lingering for longer or when the situation with the perfume has changed. They are not consistent and are only shown when it was just sprayed. Some traits of the top notes are usually fresh, citrus, and aquatic notes. Thank you so much for watching, and from me and my favorite perfume, we hope that you learned something new about Gordon Allport's trait theory as well as some new things about perfume.